Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Muhibullah Wazir. We were discussing the thorax. So, when you remove the skin from the thoracic region, over here you will see then the fascia or the pectoralis major, which is called as pectoral fascia. And then between the pectoral fascia and skin, you will see the breast tissue in case of female. And then you will see these big muscles, this pectoralis major, and then this pectoralis minor, and this subclavius. But these muscles are lying at the pectoral region, but these are the muscles of the upper limb. Then when you remove these muscles as well, then you will be able to see the ribs. Look, you will be able to see these ribs. Look, and this is the last two ribs, 12th and 11th, which are floating ribs. And then you will see these costal cartilages which unite the ribs to the sternum directly or indirectly. And then the space between the two ribs, it is being called as intercostal space. With the space between the two ribs, this space is being called as intercostal space, and this space is, it is being filled by intercostal muscles. Now the intercostal space is the space between the two ribs and bounded from above by the lower border of the rib above and from below by the upper border of the rib below. And this intercostal space, it contains the intercostal muscles. It contains these intercostal muscles which you can see, and this space also contains the intercostal vessels and nerves. And look, this space is bounded by the lower border of the rib above and by the upper border of the rib below. The present at the inner surface of each rib at the lower border, you can see this groove. Along the lower border, inferior border of each rib, there is a groove, and this groove contains three structures. Superiorly the vein, and then in the middle the intercostal artery, and inferiorly the intercostal nerve. So along the inner border of each rib, inner surface of lower border of each rib runs the three structures running in the intercostal groove of the rib, and these three structures running in the intercostal groove these are the intercostal vein, intercostal artery, and intercostal nerve. And the arrangement from above downward or from superior to inferior is vein. V means vein, and A for artery, and N for nerve. Along the upper border of the rib below, there are also small nerves and arteries which are the collateral branches of these intercostal nerves. But the point is that when you want to put a needle or any procedure in the thorax, then what you do, you put the needle along the lower border of the rib above. Look, you put the needle along, for example, look, this is the rib above, this is the rib below. You put the needle along this upper border of the rib below, because along the lower border over here runs the intercostal vessels and nerves. That's why to avoid damage or injury to that, you put the needle along the upper border of the rib below. Over here the collateral branches are present, but they are small enough that you can sacrifice, but you cannot sacrifice the intercostal nerves and arteries which runs along the lower border. Look, this point should be clear for you lifelong. Okay. Then the muscles, the intercostal muscles, in each space there are three intercostal muscles. And Note one point, that there are 12 ribs, and present between the 12 ribs there are 11 intercostal spaces. Sometimes in some people, the transverse process of the seventh cervical vertebra, it grows and make it close. The transverse process of the seventh cervical vertebra, it also grows and it unite with the first rib. Then such extension of the transverse process of the seventh cervical that unite with the first rib, that is being called a cervical rib. And this cervical rib, if present, then passes over here is the subclavian artery and the root of the brachial plexus, which can be compressed over here, and then the effects of this compression, ischemic effects of the because of the vessel, and the effect by the compression of the nerve can be felt in the upper limb because of this cervical rib, which is small. When you do an X-ray over here, you will see a small rib extending from the cervical. Otherwise, there are 12 ribs with 11 intercostal spaces, and each intercostal space consists of the 3 layers of muscle. In the abdomen, you know the 3 layers are external oblique, internal oblique, and transversus. 3 muscles. The outer one is the external, the intermediate one is the internal, and the innermost is the transversus. In the same way, in the thorax, in each intercostal space, there is an external oblique muscle, and deep to it is the external thoracic, and deep to it is the internal thoracic, and deep to it is the innermost thoracic, which is the counterpart of the transversus abdominis. And the neurovascular plane, that is the plane in which the blood vessels and arteries run in the abdomen, is between the transversus and internal oblique, and in the thorax is between the internal thoracic and the innermost thoracic, or which is the counterpart of the transversus. That is, the neurovascular plane is the same. So now in addition to that, the people say that some muscles of this external layer. Now, the external layer consists of external intercostal muscle, which is the counterpart of external oblique. Some muscles of this external layer migrate posteriorly over here. And these muscles which migrate posteriorly over here, they are being called as serratus posterior superior, and then serratus posterior inferior, and levator costarum. These 3 muscles are said to be the parts of the external oblique muscle, external layer of the thorax. Okay. Now each space consists of 3 muscles. The outermost one is the external oblique, the external thoracic, or internal intercostal. This external intercostal, it originates, note the point, from the lower border of the rib above and is inserted to the upper border of the rib below. Origin is from the inferior margin of the rib above to this upper border of the rib below. You can see this over here. Look, these muscles, make it close. These are external intercostals which originates from the lower border of the rib above and insert to the upper border of the rib below, and these muscle fibers are being directed downward and medially or antero-inferiorly. Antero-inferiorly, they are being directed antero-inferiorly or downward and medially. And then note the point that this external intercostal, it fills the intercostal space starting from this tubercle of the rib and coming like this, and when it reaches to this costochondral junction over here, when it reaches to this place between at the costochondral junction over here, the external intercostal muscle is being replaced by a membrane which is called as external intercostal membrane. That is, the external intercostal muscle is present between the ribs, while the epineurasis of this external oblique, it lies between these costal cartilages. Okay, over here it is being replaced by external intercostal membrane, and its fibers are being directed downward and medially or antero-inferiorly. Then the second layer is the internal intercostal muscle, which also fills the space between these two ribs, and it is also originates from the lower border, but also slightly from the inner surface of the costal groove, and is being inserted again to the upper border of the rib below. But the point is that the fibers of these muscles are being directed at right angle to those of external oblique. I told you external oblique muscle are being directed, look, antero-inferiorly, while the fibers of the internal oblique are being directed posterior-inferiorly at right angle to one another. Or the fibers of external oblique directed antero-inferiorly or downwards and medially, while internal oblique fibers are directed posterior-inferiorly or downward laterally at right angle to that of the external oblique. And then this space between the costal cartilages is present the internal oblique muscle, while posteriorly when at the angle of from the angle of the rib onward, the internal oblique is being then over here is present the internal intercostal membrane, or you can call it as the aponeurosis of internal oblique. So the ribs are being, costal cartilages and ribs is being present the internal oblique muscle, while posteriorly over here is present the internal intercostal membrane. Now the innermost muscle, which is the counterpart of the transversus abdominis muscle, and over here the nerves and arteries you can see over here. Look, this is external oblique, this is internal oblique, and this is innermost oblique. The nerves and arteries runs between the innermost and internal oblique. This is the neurovascular plane of the thorax as well as of the abdomen. Now, but the innermost is unique by the fact from other muscles that it is not a continuous. Look, the external oblique starts from over here, from posterior till comes over here, while the internal oblique starts from over here until reaches the angle of the rib. But the innermost layer is unique by the fact that one group of muscle is being present in this posterior part of the thorax over here, and then there is no muscle, and the intercostal nerve and arteries are in direct contact with the pleura, and then in the later part of the thorax there is another group of muscle, and then again no muscle of innermost layer, and then one muscle is present over here behind the anterior parts of the ribs and the sternums. These are being given different names. The group of muscles that is being present these innermost intercostal are now divided into three parts. Now this part of the innermost intercostal which present over here, this is being called as transversus thoracis, and present over here in the lateral part, that is being called as subcostalis, and being present over here in the posterior part, that is being called as intercostal intimi. Now look over here, one group of muscle, and the innermost intercostal muscle, number one, it is not a continuous layer, and number two, it usually do not attach between the two ribs, but after originating from the inner surface of the rib above, it usually crosses one or two ribs and then gets attached at the second or third rib on the inner surface of the third rib. Okay, so these are the innermost intercostal, and then the another group is called as subcostalis, and the third group which is present over here, that you can see from over here. Look, this is the sternum. You first look at the diagram. From this is on the inferior surface or posterior surface. Okay, look, this is the manubrium, this is the body, and it is the different process. This part of the innermost intercostal which originate from the xiphoid process lateral margins, and from the lower part of the lateral margin of the sternum, and then from the costal cartilages, and then these fibers spread over to be attached to the inner surface of the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth ribs. This part of the innermost intercostal is being called as transversus thoracis, and the part which lies in the lateral part of the thorax, that is being called as subcostalis, and the part which lies in the posterior most part, that is being called as intercostal intimi. But people call it that, like the transversus abdominis, the total three muscles should be called as the transversus thoracis. Instead of giving different names to these two, that would be more understandable. Of course, it is an incontinuous layer. One muscle fiber present in the posterior part, in the paravertebral gutter, then present in the lateral part, then present over here on the posterior part of the anterior posterior surface of anterior part of the thorax, and attached from the sternum and also to the ribs. This part is then called a transversus. Otherwise, the total innermost group should be called as transversus thoracis muscle. Okay, now these intercostal muscles are being supplied by the intercostal nerves, and the intercostal nerves which runs in the intercostal space, these are actually the ventral rami of these thoracic nerve. Thoracic nerve comes out of the spinal cord immediately to the vertebral foramen and divides into dorsal foramus, which supplies the muscles of rectus spinae muscle and then become cutaneous, while the ventral branch runs in the intercostal space from posterior to anterior, and that is being called as intercostal nerve. Okay, and then the other muscle, the levator castarum and levator, the sector posterior superior and inferior, we study at another lecture, and the functions or actions and the movement of thoracic cage we also do in the next lecture. Thank you.